honored to be here at the TEDx talk organized by Indian Institute of Science Education and Research, Berhampur. I'm Swati Nayak, and I work as a scientist in International Rice Research Institute, headquartered at Philippines. Dear all, I belong to the state of Odisha. This is I call home. My journey started from the vibrant fields of Odisha to the global stage, and I am thankful for all the opportunity and privilege I had in this entire journey to work around agriculture research for development around some pressing challenges and issues towards food and nutrition security. Today, I'm not standing here as someone who is just a scientist or a speaker, but as someone who strongly believes in the transformative power of agriculture in shaping the world, shaping the lives of billions around food and nutrition security. And someone who has believed access to food is a basic entitlement of every individual, and science has the power to do that. And I also someone who believes that there is a need for contextualization of global innovation in the local perspective, and also to build local leadership and local innovation system to take forward the innovations to the last mile end users who need them the most. My vision around agriculture is woven around three broad concepts: innovation, inclusion, and sustainability. Through this platform, I'm keen, I'm curious, and I want to convey to the young mind gathered in this room that agriculture science and agriculture research for development can be a transformational and a rewarding career option for many young aspiring students. I started my journey in a small town in Odisha that was surrounded by neighborhood which had several smallholder farm households and rural communities. So the concept of hunger and poverty, those were not abstract for me. Those are not theories for me. Those are something which I have also seen in naked eye. I have seen how the day-to-day struggle looks like to have basic food and nutrition for them, and how the livelihood options and the income opportunities for these smallholder farmer households are quite limited compared to the privileged lot who inhabited in urban or peri-urban context. The climate risk for agriculture is huge. So every season, they used to face uncertain crop yield, uncertain income, and associated vulnerabilities. And when we talk about different innovations, scientific breakthroughs, information system, all those were not accessible to those people who needed them most to transform their lives. That made me feel that how privileged we are, and that made me also feel grateful for whatever I have in terms of access to knowledge, technology, information, services, or the food and nutrition I have on my plate. This also fueled to think me that what is the meaning of science and innovation if it is not accessible to those who need them the most? That also fueled the willingness and the urge in me to work for the rural communities and to work for something which bridges the gap between innovation and its reach and the adoption. The bridging this gap between research to the end user, taking the innovation from lab to the field, and from the field to the market has been an area of research which I have been conducting year after year throughout my career. Banking upon this belief system, my decade-long experience with prestigious CGIAR International Rice Research Institute, and also my educational journey, everything has a connecting story. And through this, I have gathered a lot of training, exposure through my travels, years spent in villages, living with rural community in their houses, and conducting various socioeconomic research along with them to see, evaluate what works for them in the local context, and also to feel and to realize that the need of inclusivity cannot be ignored in the process of transfer and dissemination of technology, what we are developing and designing. Last year was a momentous year for me. I received the prestigious Norman Borlaug E. Field Award. And as you know, Dr. Borlaug is a Nobel Peace Prize laureate and father of Green Revolution. This award recognizes the research areas or the people who work towards subjects which address food and nutrition security, eradicate poverty and hunger in its own way. So that provided me more motivation to continue and to believe in what I have been doing and also propagate this idea to younger generation scientists so that the legacy is carried forward to have a more just and equitable world. Fostering empowerment, creating enabling environment, engaging community to make choices of what they want, what they don't want, fostering regional cooperations and dialogues around agriculture, research and development and associated science areas have been one of the areas where a lot of critical stakeholder needs to put their time in. Some of the critical research areas which has taken a significant shape in last decade, I would say, or a little more than that. That has been innovations around climate resilient crops and varieties and the quality seeds of it. As you know, the climate change is the reality. And at the same time, the smallholder, the most vulnerable farm household, do not have basic resources to afford expensive or cost-intensive technological solution. A good quality seed of a climate-resilient variety provides a significant safety cushion, a significant resilience to that household, which they can afford and secure the yield and put security for not only for themselves, but associated livelihood as well. Scaling those resilient varieties through systematic trialing and advancement in the seed market and through the seed system actors has been one critical areas of research for me and many associated scientists from the national system as well. In the entire process, another cornerstone have been the gender inclusivity in the processes or in the innovation system design what we follow, why we promote any kind of technology. This applies to agriculture and this also applies to many others. As we know, in agriculture, women have significant participation through age-old practice or by the tradition. However, due to our land ownership pattern and several various challenges, they are never recognized so-called farmers. But their voices and choices matters as much as like for main farmers. So bringing in that diversity and that inclusivity in our program designing and delivery has been a critical pillar where when we propagate these resilient varieties, quality seeds, the knowledge, skill, and enterprise opportunities are also equally shared with the women farmers in the community and their institutions, which work as very strong social network for faster dissemination. We have carried out significant number of I would say, on-farm testing or validation of different new climate-resilient rice varieties. Those can tolerate drought, those can tolerate extended dry spell, extended submergence or flooding, or even in one season, a same household can face the flood and drought together at different stages of crop cycle. So these resilient varieties, bred through modern technologies, have the tendency to withstand these climate stresses in their particular periods, like, in the establishment phase or in the vegetative phase, and provide a minimum guaranteed yield to the farmers and save them from the associated risks and yield loss. Creating awareness, creating channels for dissemination, empowering institutions to deliver these climate-resilient varieties and quality seeds in a sustainable, seamless, and decentralized manner has been also the part of innovation. As I keep on saying, what's the meaning of the innovation if it is only published in paper or sits in the lab? It needs to reach the end user. And especially in agriculture space, the end users are very vulnerable. They are our smallholder farmers who need these, innovations in a pressing manner or urgently or immediately. And hence, the entire ecosystem has been woven around not just research, but also the delivery models. One of the success story goes back to actually a decade-long effort which happened in this very state, Odisha, and in Mayurbhanj, when IRI and the national partners worked together hand in glove, including many civil society organizations as well as community-based organizations, to introduce a variety called Sahwagi Dhan, which was then a remarkable variety released first time, a drought-resilient varieties. And at that process, a significant realization came into play that it was not just the characteristic of that variety to give, better or guaranteed yield under high drought or water stress conditions, but it was also the power of community and the institutions who played the role even before the formal systems or the formal market, factors took over the, adoption or the scaling of this variety. Even before that interplay started, the community was self-sustained and were convinced about this variety to disseminate quickly and scale among themselves through farmer-to-farmer sharing of knowledge and quality seeds. And we saw that innovation and inclusivity can be merged from the design stage itself. As I keep on saying, as I keep on emphasizing how important it is to ensure women farmers and their institutions are integral part of our innovation ecosystem. It not only just ensures equality, but it ensures equity and create a ecosystem of equal decision-making power, ability, and opportunity as well as participation. And hence, in our designing, be it dissemination models or extension approaches, training programs, or be it enterprise development around seed, women institutions or individual women growers have been a critical pillar, and it needs to be re-emphasized every program and policy documents moving forward. Looking ahead, I strongly believe, and I would like to convey this, the greatest innovations have only the meaning or have only impact when it reaches to the end users who needs them the most. That needs to be extended, that needs to be made available in an inclusive and equitable manner so that they are adopting it in a sustained way and also reaping the benefits of it, which is embedded in the design phase. My vision for future of agriculture is where inclusion meets innovation or innovation meets inclusion. And this too should not work in silos or in isolation. From the design to implementation to the evidence generation to the evaluation stage, both these needs to work together. And it is possible, and we have seen it, and we have proved it through various experiments. There is also a great opportunity to combine advanced technologies and traditional know-how, be it advanced agriculture practices or sustainable farming or natural farming models. Both can go together. There are need for contextualization. There is a need for customization based on the needs. As we know, our ecosystems are fairly variable for a country like India, where diversity prevails not in terms of our society, but also in terms of our ecology and ecosystem. I would like to convey and request our young researchers and students to embrace opportunities to learn, collaborate, and innovate. And I believe the space of agriculture research and development is something where scientific breakthrough, social justice, and environmental stewardship intersects. It's not about just growing crops. It's about growing future. And the emphasis which I gave that empowering women in agriculture or engaging women in STEM is not about strengthening their livelihood, but transforming the entire community of practice. With this, I would really like to request you to join hands together with us, with the scientific community, to sow the seeds of change and cultivate a future where scientific innovation, inclusion, sustainability are not ideals, but realities. Thank you very much.